Hi everyone, it's Barb from Crafting Made Simple. Today we are going to color, shape, and assemble pansies. I'm so excited to show you my tips and techniques. Now I want to put out a disclaimer right off the bat. I am not an advanced colorist. In fact, I would probably give advanced colorists nightmares about how I color. So it's right out there. I'm going to show you what I've come up with for pansies that I personally really like, and I thought I'd share them, and hopefully you guys like them too. We're going to use purple and yellow today because I think that's the main color of a pansy. But at the end of this video, I will show you the colors that I used to make these two. I will be using the pansies from Heartfelt Creations from the Burst of Spring collection. However, everything that I show you in this video, you can use for any pansies. The supplies that you're going to need to create this flower is a purple and yellow ink. I am using Archival ink Deep Purple, and I'm using Archival ink Chrome Yellow. The colored pencils that I'm using are violet and yellow orange. For the leaves, I am using Archival ink Leaf Green, I can talk, and Archival ink Vivid Chartreuse. So you want a dark color and a light color. And then I'm only using one colored pencil colored, which is apple green. You will also need some type of mister for your water and a foam mat, plus a shaping tool. I am using the 4mm, or you can use the 5mm, just to give you an idea of what I use. Let's get started. I just realized I never turned the camera on. I do that a lot, but no worries. This part is fairly simple. I took the yellow orange colored pencil and I drew lines, as you can see, in the center of each piece. I did follow some of the purple lines for guidance, but you really don't need to. Just put as many lines in the centerpiece of the pansies as you want, and it'll be fine. Now I'm going to take the purple colored pencil and I'm going to go around the edges, and then I'm going to do very tiny lines about in the center. Again, do as many as you want. Just go over the lines of the stamp. Oops, sorry if I was off camera. Sometimes I get involved in what I'm doing. Now you see how when I cut this out, I have some white? You're not going to see it, so don't stress over it. Then I'm just going to go and just lightly add tiny little lines because that's where my stamp is. I'm not going to do these because I feel that should be the yellow center. So I'm going to come over here, and again, I'm just going to go over, just kind of do short lines. I am heavy-handed with pretty much everything I do crafting. So, plus I like deep colors. So again, you do what you prefer and what you like. That one's done. And I'm going to come over here and do the same thing with this one. Again, I'm going to go in and just create some little lines here. As you can see, I don't spend a lot of time doing this. I don't. All right, colored pencils are done. I'm going to take my dauber and I'm going to start in the center of the flower and I'm going to push up and lift. Start, push up and lift. I am not starting off of the flower because when you start in the center, it's going to get darker in the center, and that's where the flower material in the center is going to go. So basically I do that. You do it as dark as you want. By starting in the center and pushing up and lifting up, you end up with a feathered look. So we're going to do this side. Again, I start in the center and I push and lift. Push and lift. You go up as much as you want or as little as you want. And I'm going to lift this up to show you. So you can see the purple lines from the stamp. Sorry, the purple lines from the stamp show up and the colored pencil shows up. So I have 3 colors just for the center of this flower. Then we're going to take my deep purple and we're going to start from the edge and we're going to use the same technique. I'm going to start at the edge. I'm going to push it up and over the yellow. See it? So I'm going to start a little bit off the edge and push up and up. And you keep going until you get the color that you want. See, it's just blending right into that gold. Do the other side. The reason I use archival ink, and like I said, it doesn't matter what ink you use, but the reason I use it is because archival ink builds in color. So look at the deep color that I got. Oops, look at the deep color I got just by keep going over with the ink. Now I'm just going to go and I'm going to ink the edges. And that takes care of the rest of whatever white cardstock I have showing. Okay. Now I'm going to do this side piece. And again, I'm going to start at the edge and I'm going to go up. And I'm going to go over the gold. Yeah, gold. The yellow color. It looks gold now because of the colored pencil. And I'm just going to keep going, lifting up to get it to blend. When I get that color I like, just keep going. I'm going to do the edges. I'm just going to do the edges. That's it. I mean, really, how easy was that? How easy was that? I didn't spend a lot of time, and I think I got some really good, beautiful results. Now we're going to shape. You are going to need 2 sizes of your stylus. I am using a 4mm and a 5mm size. So the first thing I do is I flip it over. And I just want to talk about this before we do it. You're going to mist anything that you're using for shaping, like your flowers. You're going to lightly mist. Because what that does is it breaks a little bit of the fiber of the cardstock that allows you to get a really deep shape. And then when the flower dries, it will stay because cardstock doesn't have memory. It's very, very important that you don't use a lot of water because if your flour or anything you're shaping is too wet, it's going to rip. Now, yes, you can glue it back together, but try to get in the habit of misting only. If it's too wet, then I would let it dry. Now, one of the tips that I have is I'm using the 4mm. I'm going to start in the center and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to use a little bit of force. You can use a scrap piece of paper just to play around with it, but my stylus didn't get caught on the cardstock, so that means my cardstock's not too wet. So what I do is I start at the edge of the flower and I just push it down and pull it towards the center. Push and pull. Again, if you start with a scrap piece of paper, you'll know how hard you have to press down to get what you want. Okay, turn it over, and again, I always start in the center, so I'm going to press and push, or pull. It's pull. Okay, edge, press and pull. Okay, that's what you end up with. Then, if you want it a little bit more, you just go in and you kind of crunch it together. Get a little bit more of a ruffle. Okay, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to push it. Alright, that side's done. Now we're going to come over and we're going to use this one. Okay, we're going to go to the center. I'm going to push and I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. You're going to bring it down with a little bit of force. Edge and pull. Yeah, it's push down and pull. Good Lord. See how nice that works? And then we're going to do this side. Again, I start in the center. Push and pull. And you see that the edges are just kind of coming up on their own. Press and pull. Again, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to bring it in a little bit to get a little bit more ruffle. Super easy. I mean, can't get any easier than that. Okay, so to push this together, you're going to take this piece, and this piece has a curved side and a flat side. The flat side is going to be up. Okay? I'm going to put glue in the center. Holding the flat side up, you're going to tuck it like that, and then you're going to set it down. So again, you're going to have the flat side slid up to the top, and you'll know you have it right because the circle will almost go right here. And then it folds underneath this piece. And then you just press down. The last step for the flower is going to be doing your center material. You can basically use whatever you want. You can use mini pearls, or mini prills, sorry. Okay, those will work. But I'm going to use a product that I made, and you can search for it in my videos, and it will be homemade flour soft, which is what I use. When no matter what you use for your flower centers, I would recommend using a glue that dries clear, because you don't want to see it underneath the flour soft. So I'm just going to put a bunch of glue. I'm using art glitter glue, my well-loved bottle. Okay, so once that's in there, just going to dump a bunch of Flour Soft in there. Flour Soft is lightweight, so I'm just going to go in, I'm going to push down, move it around, and tap it off. Sometimes it might require a little bit more glue. I want quite a bit in this one. Just put the glue right on top again, dump some more on it. Move it around on the glue inside, tip it over. That's much better. Beautiful, isn't it? So I'm going to set that aside. We're going to let it dry, and now we're going to do the leaf. Now that the beautiful flower is done and we're waiting for the center to dry, we're going to do the leaves. I am using archival ink leaf green and vivid chartreuse. Then I'm going to use my well-loved apple green colored pencil. Again, the colored pencil is not necessary. However, I like the added color depth. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line through the center of each leaf and then through the center. Just like that. This technique will work again with any leaf. You just remember that your center is always the darkest, and that's what the colored pencil is doing. Trying to go in the direction of the lines of they're on the stamp, but you don't have to, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. Just want to darken the center and then bring that up. Again, my white edge, you're not going to see it. I mean, look at the one flower that we just did. You don't see any of the white edge. So there's no reason to try to clean it up. Okay, that's done. I'm going to take the leaf green, and I'm going to go from the end, and I'm going to go up with the dauber. So you got to hang on to it. So you go up and lift. I used to call it the flick. So you go up, you flick. And I'm just kind of softening up the color pencil that I did. Okay, that's all I did. Try to give it a little bit of softness. You can go in and add a little bit more of the colored pencil if you want. You can see I was not very worried about where it went as long as it's in the center. Now I'm going to take the Vivid Chartreuse and I'm just going to color in the center of the leaves, just to give them some color. Again, you can make that as dark as you want or as little as you want. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to use the leaf green and I'm going to ink all of my edges to get rid of the white. Get a little heavier where my white is. Okay? Again, super easy, didn't take long. Now we're going to shape them. So we'll bring my well-loved mat back out. And we're going to flip it over. And again, we're going to mist it. Now, lightly mist. I hold my mister way up, and I'm using a mini mister. So just kind of do that. And we're going to use my 4mm stylus again. I hope it. And then we're going to test it again. If I got it too wet, again, we want it to slide and move the cardstock as we're pushing. You start in the center, and I'm going to go through. See how that's just bowing up? Then I'm going to go, and I'm going to go from the edges into the center. Kind of imagine the lines on the other side to give you an idea of where to go. We're just going to move it so that it might have gotten that a little wet. So you're going to end up with something like that. Is that not cool? Look how that just shapes itself. Again, we're going to go from the center down, and then from the sides to the center. Out, in. One more. Center, push. And there is my flower. Look how beautiful that is. When you're adding the leaves to the pansy, you can leave the leaves like in this set hole. Just kind of go like that. Or sometimes I will cut the leaves off and add them around the flower. It depends on what look you want. Again, use the same technique for any pans you have, any colors you use. However, you can also leave the center white. For the pink pansy, I just wanted the center and I just wanted the edges colored. So it's a different look. These are the medium pansies from Burst of Spring collection. Keep watching and I will show you the colors that I used for all three of these and lay it out. I hope you enjoyed the video and happy crafting, everyone.